Maki is a lot stronger than you initially realized. And I think as more as the series goes on, HR stocks are through the roof and will continue to do so. The reason why I do think HR is a lot stronger than people give them credit for is more so how the community have placed them and the fact that they are anomalies in the system. Majority of the community before the time skip had Maki and Toji relative to the Yutas and the Hikaris. However, post-time skip, the story has portrayed these three to be on the same level, or at least be somewhat relative to each other, which if you do believe that the students have got exponentially stronger since the post-time skip, that actually puts Maki at a very, very nice place with the fact that she must have been a lot stronger before the time skip, specifically if we don't believe HR has got stronger by any other means aside from Cursed. Now let's kind of dive into their narrative portrayal and why they actually are a lot more stronger than people give them credit for, and it starts all the way back with our favorite Toji Zenin, or also known as the greatest deadbeat in history. And when we start off with Toji Zenin, we get some good key information. When Toji is assigned to go and assassinate Rico, he's asked a pivotal question on can he defeat Gojo. His reluctancy to not answer leads to a lot of the community to suggest that that means he's not confident that he can win. However, I've never really seen it that way, with more so it gives an ambiguity to suggest that he could win or he could lose, which puts them on some sort of relativity. This relativity is then boosted specifically by somebody such as Naoya, as we know Naoya is the exact same age as somebody such as Gojo, meaning he should be aware of the clan head and aware of somebody such as Toji. And Naoya seems to be a very consistent scalar to the actual true strength of Toji for numerous of reasons. One, when Maki first awakened and became like Toji, he was the first and only person to actually acknowledge that Maki truly hadn't been like Toji. And now with hindsight, we know that was completely true, as once we get to Sakurajumo, she needed to get over that mental buff to be able to really reach those heights. But the reason why to think that his scaling is consistent is one, like I said, he was the one to acknowledge her power, and then when she did awaken, he was the first person to acknowledge that, oh, you are now like Toji, which then led to his own ascension of becoming with his domain expansion. This shows consistency with the fact that he's been aligned with actually knowing Toji's true strength, and he's the only person who put both Toji and Gojo on some pedestal to suggest that they are the apex of their respective verse. You can suggest that his bias comes from the fact that those are the people that he's aware of, but the simple fact that he's a clan head, he should have more evidence towards people around him, and that means people like Yuki, even though there's an exception that her abilities weren't known, at least puts them at a level that Gojo and Toji should be above her, which puts them in a nice position that Maki's a lot stronger than people initially thought. Now I think a lot of the biggest downplay comes from is the fact that we say that that was a version of Gojo and Toji should be relative, and the simple fact that a lot of the community think that version of Gojo is a lot weaker than people give him credit for. One, that Gojo still has infinity, which just makes him way broken. Yes, he doesn't have RCT and hasn't awakened, but that version of Gojo was still called the strongest, and I don't think, at least from the way the series has been portrayed, that the scaling has been very consistent, and there isn't a significant power cliff that we've seen in the series. The disaster curses, for example, still scale pretty nicely to the people in the Culling games. I do have a video coming out with Zage, great YouTuber, where we will be discussing the Sendai colony versus the disaster curses, excluding Utah, and kind of put into perspective how their scaling is a lot more consistent. But to really wrap that back all the way back to the fact that Naoya is a consistent scalar, he's the person who really puts them both on a pedestal to suggest that they are both the apex of their respective verse. And this is then buffed with the fact that, like we said, we got to the fight with Toji versus Gojo. Of course, Gojo wasn't at his full percent and was tired due to the 3 days and not even at his 100% strength that we know he is, but for the simple fact that even after the sneak attack, everything that Toji did was on his own conscious and came from him improvising. It wasn't him coming with a detailed plan. Yes, he did weaken Gojo. It was all in the essence of him successfully creating his assassination, and a lot of it came from him post improvisation. Now someone would suggest that, okay, there was a baby version of the Six Eyes which was able to track Toji. However, in this fight we saw that he wasn't able to track Toji, and as we see as we continue, being the Six Eyes may be an exception, people such as Sukuna, who is the top of the verse, can't even track the HR users, meaning they're prone to being sneaked attack. And not only that, but it means it's very hard for them to actually keep up with them, meaning that they're just a huge matchup problem for pretty much everybody in the verse, bar the Gojos and Sukunas. But to take it to a step further, and why I believe that version of Gojo is a lot more underrated, is because if we put it into perspective, the way that it has been shown in the series, from him using blue and etc., it just puts that Gojo on a far higher pedestal as we continue to go with the series. However, that will be a video for another day, where I really want to prop up how pre-RCT and specifically post-RCT Gojo is a lot more stronger than the community gives it credit for. And then there's an underlying narrative that's also shown within the series, and specific when we get to Naoya talking about Toji. the sin of the insignificant is not knowing true strength. And I think specifically with Gege referencing that Gojo is the only one to truly understand Toji, he plays on the theme of the lonely on the top as well. As we've consistently seen in the series, the people who have a greater understanding of true strength are those that share those same struggles. Toji being exiled from his respective clan for the simple fact that he does not have the traditional sense of what it means to be strong, with him being a HR user. Gojo, like himself, obviously being overwhelmingly strong, Kashimo, Sukuna, and the plethora of characters that we've seen who have adopted that trope. In specific has also been shown to be with Toji, and the person with Gojo being the only one to understand him, especially a character as Gojo who can't be understood by others. It really does reinforce, especially with the knowledge that we do know, that that was the theme that Gege was trying to portray with Toji's character, and it goes nicely with his whole portrayal that we've seen in the series, which nicely reflects to only Maki as well. Taken to a step further, when we get even the moment where he comes in Shibuya and the way he comes out of the domain directly is a foil to not only Gojo but to the whole conflict that they had between their characters. He comes out same way, looking as if he's doing his own respective honored one, but through the opposite spectrum, and specifically that was the Toji that seemed to be free and cast from all those desires that he previously had. This version of Toji wasn't searching for self-affirmation, nicely fully completes his character, which really does suggest that he does have that same trope of the lonely at the top, but to a different perspective, and it nicely boosts that Toji is a lot stronger than people think, not only just from a power scaling perspective, but even in the narrative perspective as well. But to put back into what I said, if we assume that the students are somewhat relative to Maki pre-timeskip, that means, like I said, Maki is not only far stronger, which means that us as the audience really don't know the true strength of actual HR, and the fact that it's still shrouded in a lot of mystery gives more cadence to that. And then we get one of my favorite things, which is the entire Zenin Clan arc. In the Zenin Clan arc, one thing one of the people in the Zenin Clan said is that the Zenin Clan is only alive because of the whim of Toji, meaning Toji could have came and washed everybody in the clan, and that includes a Nobito, Naoya, and the rest of the Zenin, which puts them in a very nice perspective. One, for the simple fact that the speed of two speeders such as Nobito and Naoya, who one, Nobito was able to easily handle Dagon before the domain expansion, really showing that even with their broken curse technique, how strong these HR users are, and for the simple fact that they could run through an entire clan of minimum grade 1 sorcerers with some who have very broken techniques, which just puts into perspective that HR is a lot stronger than people give them credit for. To take it to a step further, we also even get the statement that is nicely said from Yuki, where Yuki told Geto that she shouldn't be worried that he lost to somebody such as Toji because he is a superhuman. And to put that into context, the fact that these entire Jujutsu sorcerers are superhumans in their own right, that he puts Toji on a certain pedestal, to me really enforces that they're a lot further than a lot of people give them credit for. And I think the community doesn't really have a true understanding of the power of HR, which I think is very intentional because Gege has let it be ambiguous throughout the series. But to kind of piece that both together and to continue into the point to why they really are a lot stronger than people take credit for is more so their bag and what they have. They're immune to domains, which is the biggest pinnacle of what Jujutsu sorcery are. They have curse tools such as the inverted spear of heaven, which is able to negate the user. And of course, I'm using things such as Toji just to talk about HR in general. However, I do hope in the future we do see Maki get an inverted spear of heaven. However, even if she doesn't get that, for the simple fact that she has a soul split katana, which from what we know negates durability and potentially might not be healed by the soul. Meaning if they can't be healed, then it's pretty much a one shot if they get a significant blow onto the user, and to combat that with their actual precog, which makes them a monster. And to put it into perspective, the precog should be enough to really put them over actual users. We see in Sakurajima where Naoya says she can't even catch up to Maki. Now a lot of people say that that means that Maki is faster than Naoya. However, even if we go through the other interpretation that he's actually not faster than Naoya, the simple fact that Maki can evade, dodge, and manage to get significant hits without Naoya actually being able to touch him really puts into perspective how broken precog really is, and it's taken to an even step further when we get to the point against the fight against Sukuna. Now we know from the fight against Sukuna that Sukuna wasn't necessarily going all out, as well as his curse technique output was lowered. However, Lightning, who was our most trusted translator when we get to things in the series, suggested that his curse technique movement was not affected, which puts that Maki and Yuji to somewhat relativity in terms of movement speed to the Sukuna that they fought. Of course, like I said, that Sukuna is probably weakened. However, the only time that Sukuna managed to get a significant blow onto Maki was when he does the cleave onto the ground to take away her footing and then punch her straight after. Meaning that with precog, they're able to contend with somebody who is far ahead in the verse and really put them onto perspective with how difficult it is against such people. Now, to put this all in totality, what does this mean for Maki and Toji? Well, let's look at them from a feat perspective, being able to sneak people such as Sukuna. And if we're going through the exception that only Gojo was able to see them because of the 6 eyes, that means nobody in the verse should be able to sense them, really giving them the perfect candidates to being the sneak merchants. The entire bag just makes them a problem for every sorcerer really not named Gojo versus Sukuna, and I think it will be continue to be enforced as they get their moment in this fight against Sukuna. But like I said, Toji's going to get massive upscale because the version that was of against Gojo was obviously mentally nerfed, which you know in the series how mental buffs significantly affect the user, and depending on your interpretation of the Rusty comment, you can suggest that the Rusty comment meant that Toji wasn't in his prime, which is what it assumed to be, as well as the fact that he mentally would have never fought somebody such as Gojo, specifically in the post RCT version, which kind of puts it into perspective that that version of Toji isn't the truest reflection, which is why Maki is going to be a very good scale for actually Toji and Maki in the future. The continued Maki feats really just boost Toji, and Toji feats that we get from statements and portrayal really boost Maki, and it goes hand in hand with each other and kind of puts into perspective that HR's true strength hasn't been shown in the series, and they have a lot more to gain as we continue in the series. Even they're just their immunity to regular techniques for the simple fact that they don't take curse energy, and for the simple fact that something such as Panda made a comparison to Kashimo's lightning being something like Nue, and Nue not really doing any significant damage to Maki. It really just boosts Maki and Toji's stocks to the roof and kind of just shows that they're monsters within their own realm. Now I know somebody's going to bring up, well, Megumi said he's 3 fingers Sukuna level. One, Sukuna scaling isn't comparable to anybody else in the series because it's Sukuna, and each finger we don't have a necessary linear scaling to suggest how fast that each one is. But we know for the simple fact that the only thing he gains from the fingers is curse energy. I'm not here to say that curse energy doesn't affect his speed, because it most likely does. However, for the simple fact that Megumi, who has no idea what Sukuna's speed was, it was just him getting blitz, isn't indicative of how fast Toji is, because he doesn't know Sukuna's true speed. Aside from the fact that he knows that the feeling that he felt of being overwhelmed by a user is comparable to that of Sukuna, which is why he makes that comparison to Toji. We also know with Toji being able to completely overwhelm somebody such as Dagon in a very short limited factor, being able to not only destroy his sure hits, being able to run on water, but his overall portrayal was disgustingly crazy, and it really shows why they are broken as they are. To take it to a step further, we saw the showing that Maki had against Sukuna, being able to contend with him, and even though we know it was a 2v1 with him and Yuji going back and forth, it really puts into perspective if the fact, like Lightning said, that their curse technique movement wasn't affected, that puts their speed at a far greater level than the rest of the series, and somebody such as Yuji, who's already been compared to be a superhuman before curse energy, it really enforces why they're on a different level than others. Now let's put this all in totality, because their durability is crazy, their speed is crazy, their AP, they basically have a one-shot sword, they're immune to the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery, and they all have their internal healing, which we saw with Maki in Sakurajima. So why do people sleep on HR? I think the reason people sleep on HR is for the simple fact that they don't have the credentials as regular Jujutsu sorcerers, because they are an anomaly, meaning we can't rank them in the same manner such as the domains, etc, because they don't have that. However, because of this, they are actually the perfect matchup against any other sorcerer, and for the simple fact I think they have a perfect argument for potentially being in the top 5 as we continue in the series.
Another classmate died.
However, I know a lot of people won't necessarily agree with that, and I hope you at least hear me out and hear my perspective. However, I do believe if you're not on the HR chain, get on before it is too late.